Hey everybody, it's Dana and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm sharing inspiration from the Hero Art My Monthly Hero Kit for January 2024. Within this kit, you're going to receive 5 color layering floral background stencils, a coordinating heart window frame cut, Love You Fancy Dies, Love Messages clear stamp set, which is a 4x6, 6 sheets of camel watercolor paper, which is 5x7, and 3 core ink cubes in moss, azalea, and summer sky. So let's go ahead and get started. Now for my card today, I am going to start with the heart, which is this beautiful heart window fancy cut. And then I'm also going to use the Love You Fancy Dies, which are so pretty on their own. But I'm also going to be using some pieces from the premium kit, which are the 10 floral fancy dies. Everything I use today will be linked below. And these are the colors for today. So I'm going to be using Peony, Soft Blossom, and Taffy, as well as Caramel and Cup of Joe. And this is the inspiration. This is the beautiful color that we're going to be using today. If you guys want to know more about this color cube, I will put the link below. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I have some Hero Arts paper here. This is the Dove White cardstock. And I'm going to kind of measure out where this heart lands because we're going to be doing some ink blending today. So I just want to make sure that my colors are going to fit within this heart shape. So again, this heart is so gorgeous. You can totally make a shaker card with this, but instead I just wanted to be able to place this beautiful heart on top of my card. So I am just using a pencil to kind of give me a guideline of where I need to have my colors. Now, since I have that done, I can go ahead and start doing my ink blending. So I will start off with the lightest shade here. Now with ink blending this, I want to make sure that I get a good amount of ink down so I can blend it seamlessly between the 3 colors. So I like to kind of start off at the top and blending that color down. Now ink blending is such a beautiful way to add color to your card without having to use like watercolors or markers. It's just such a pretty way to add some simple color. So as you can see, I'm coming in at the top of that heart outline, because remember I have the outline there, and I'm doing some light ink blending. Now, once I finish with my first color, I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to my second. Now this color is just a little bit darker, but this is going to give me such a pretty blend. So I'm going to come right back in underneath that first light pink color and build this color up. Now what's so great about this kind of blending is the ink eventually is going to settle into the paper and I'm going to get a pretty blend. I also like to blend back with my first color. So you see I'll clean off my brush here and then I'm going to switch back into that lighter pink. Now, working back into that lighter pink is going to help me get a really pretty blend here. Again, all of this color is going to seamlessly blend down together. And like I said, it's going to soak into the paper. I am going to go right back into that darker color one more time and bring that down a little bit further so I can add that third color in. So like I said, this is a great way to use this heart is by having just that little bit of a color shift rather on this heart. It's just so pretty. Now, once I get finished with that, I'm going to bring in Taffy. Now, Taffy is a reactive ink from Hero Arts. So I am going to switch up my brush on this. I keep brushes that are just for my reactive inks or oxide inks, and I put a little bit of washi tape at the bottom. So I know those are the brushes I have to use with my oxide inks or reactive inks. I don't want to cross-contaminate my brushes. So as you can see, that taffy is such a bright and pretty pink. And I'm working that right up into that soft blossom. It's going to be so pretty. As I add this color, I'm making sure to kind of make sure I overlap here. And once I do that, I have this really pretty blend. Now, it might look a little bit splotchy, but again, like I said, it's going to settle into that paper. Now, I did want a little bit of shimmer here. So I am going to grab my shimmer spray, my iridescent shimmer spray from Hero Arts, and I'm going to add that to this heart as well. And that's also going to help settle in this paper or this ink, and then I'll go ahead and heat set this. Now, if you are new to the channel, I would love for you to subscribe. It really helps me out. And don't forget to click the like and share button. All right, I'm going to clean off my desktop and look how pretty this is. And look how those colors have really blended so gorgeous into this little heart. So this is going to be a perfect backdrop for my card. So I went ahead to make sure I'm placing that heart within those three colors. And then I can go ahead and just grab me a little bit of tape to hold this in place while I run it through my die cut machine. Now, if you wanted to, you can just trim this down, this piece of paper down, and then die cut that heart in vellum and place it over that. And it will be so pretty. Now I need to start working on that Love You dies. I love these dies. I love how bold they are and I love how large they are. Now I am going to put a piece of tape just between here. And after I started the ink blend, I kind of figured I probably didn't need that tape, but in my head, I needed it. So I am now going to move over to that caramel color. Do you guys say caramel or caramel? I say caramel. I'm going to start ink blending this on. I'm going to start at the top of that paper and I'm just going to bring down a soft wash of this. I really don't want this color to be dark because remember, I'm matching the colors that I had on my card earlier in the video. So I want this to kind of be a really soft color. So once I have that color down, I will go ahead and bring in my die just to make sure I have a light blend of that. I went ahead and reversed this paper so I can do a soft blend on the other side to fit in my U. Now this is going to be my first color to use of that brown shade. So now I can bring this over. I have that softness for the U. And I want to make sure that I cut this because I'm going to end up having the dark brown towards the bottom. So I can line up my love. I'm going to go ahead and remove that tape. And I'm going to use that tape to hold these dies in place while I run them through my die cutting machine. So this is another way to do some light, pretty ink blending on your Valentine's Day cards. Now this is obviously the first Valentine's Day card I'm sharing with you this year. And I love that I started off with the Hero Arts kit. So I'm going to go ahead and run this through my die cutting machine. And I have these gorgeous letters that are having really soft blend on them. But I did want to add a little bit of that darker brown just across the bottom of these letters, just to give it a really pretty gradient. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my blending brush and I'm going to hold this in place and just blend up from the bottom. That's just going to give us such a pretty look of having those two shades of brown with those three shades of pink. This is a great way to, anytime you have a larger die cut like this, is to add a little bit more color to it. And if you do like really soft blends, this works perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up my U, set that aside, and look how gorgeous that is. And then I can come in and I can do the love. Again, I'm going very soft with this. I'm adding just a little bit of ink and blending that color up. Now, if you wanted to have like a really harsh line on this, you could totally go ahead and tape this off and actually get a harsher line if you wanted to. But I just want a really soft, pretty blend on this. Once I have this all blended the way I want it, I'm going to go ahead and set these aside. Now for the background, I decided to bring in my Scor-Buddy. I don't use this tool enough, and we had used it in our series over on the OCC, which is the online card classes, and I decided to pull it out and use it for my first Valentine's Day card. So I am scoring at every quarter of an inch on here, and that's going to give me a nice little backdrop for my heart, but it's not going to be distracting. I went ahead and flipped over or rotated rather my paper, and then I'm going to go back through and I'm going to add in those quarter mark lines. And once this is done, it's going to give you a really soft effect on your background without having to stamp anything, without having to stencil anything. This just gives you a little bit of texture in your card. And look how pretty that is. Just some simple, clean lines that are not going to interfere with my gorgeous heart. So once I have that done, I'm going to bring back in the heart and the love sentiment. And look how pretty that looks together. Again, it does not compete. The lines are just a soft texture in the background. Now remember, I did say I wanted to use just a few of those dies from the 10 Floral Fancy dies that come in the premium kit. So I'm going to go ahead and die cut out a few of these just for a little bit of more added interest to my card. Now, if you didn't want to do that, that would just be totally fine, but I wanted to add just a little bit more of an element here. So I went ahead and I die cut these all out of white cardstock. And then I'm going to decide if I want to keep them white or if I want to add color to them. I did make sure to die cut out a few of these so I can stack them up to give them a little bit more weight. So all I'm going to do here is go ahead and stack these up so I have a thicker element, because die cutting these out just once, they are a little bit delicate. And by stacking them, I'm going to give them just a tad bit more of a little bit of weight. I went ahead and stacked these up, and I just have them underneath a paperweight here just so they can hang out and dry. Now, once I was done, I wanted to see if I wanted to keep these white with the background or I wanted to add some color. I do like it both ways, but I do think I want to add a little bit more of that pink color to this card. So what I'm going to do is just use what is left on my blending brushes to add a little bit of color to the top of those flowers. And what's so pretty about the top of these flowers, I don't know if you can really see it, but they're heart-shaped petals, which I think is so gorgeous. So again, I'm just using what is left over on my blending brushes just to add the lightest of that pink. So I'm going to get a little bit more of a lighter color than my blend, but that's going to look perfect. Now I'm going to come in with the brown, again, what is left on my brush, and I'm just going to add that towards the bottom of each one of those flowers, as well as the leaves. Remember, your leaves don't have to be green, and neither does your stems. When you're making your cards, you have creative license to do whatever you want. All right, once I have that color down, I really think I like this a little bit better than just keeping everything white. Now it's time for us to go ahead and build up our card. So as you can see, I have my gorgeous heart here. I have my beautiful leaves and flowers, and those are going to tuck in nicely behind my heart. I mean, look how pretty it is. Just that little bit of color, I think, really makes a difference compared to just keeping these white. Now, I did want to stack up my Love You as well. Those are kind of thin, so I'm going to stack those up the same exact way as I stacked up my leaves and my flowers. This is such a great way, especially when you have the coordinating dies for anything that you have, to add a little weight to it, is just to die cut a couple more pieces in just white cardstock, even scrap cardstock, and then layer your words or whatever you've die cut just to give it a little bit more weight. So I'm just using my Hero Arts glue here, and I'm going to go ahead and stack up that love right on top of the white one. And using tweezers, especially the Hero Arts reverse tweezers, really allows me to stack these up nicely. And because this is a larger sentiment, it's super, super easy to do. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and stack up the rest of these so we can get on to finishing up the card. Now, since I have the U done, at this point, I'm trying to see, do I really need to have all of the sentiment on here? So remember, my heart will allow me to do the love you. I'm going to set those aside first and kind of figure out where I want my placement of everything. So I have not glued down that heart yet. I'm just going to tuck in some of these flowers that I die cut and did a little bit of ink blending on and see exactly where I want them. I think I like them on a diagonal across the card so it kind of looks like the arrow of like the bow that usually would go through a heart. Now I can go ahead and lay down this beautiful colored heart that we have here that we ink blend. And again, it's going to look very pretty on just that simple lined background. I can go ahead and place that in the center of my card. And then I'll go ahead and start tucking in the rest of my elements. Now, the one thing you want to make sure when you place down your heart is not to press it down on it too hard, because you want to still have time to tuck in those other pieces. I really, really love just the simplicity of how this card looks. Now we can go ahead and start thinking about that sentiment placement. Now, everything has been hanging off to the side. It's fully dried. And now I'm going to bring those back in. And look how gorgeous those light shades of brown work with that gorgeous ink blending. So I'm looking here and I'm like, oh, I guess I could do the love you like that, but I feel like it covers up way too much of that gorgeous heart. So I'm just going to use the love instead of the whole sentiment, because I really still want to be able to see that gorgeous ink blending that we did. And I think just putting this simple love on here is going to be a fantastic Valentine's Day card. So once again, I'm going to use my tweezers and I'm going to use my precision glue, and I'm going to glue this down right towards the center of my heart. All right, I'm just going to line that up. I'm going to try to get it as even as I can on both sides. And once I can pick that up, I can kind of make sure I'm straight on this. Now look how gorgeous this looks. We have just that little bit of texture in the background. Nothing is competing with the heart. And then I have this gorgeous sentiment on top. Now I am going to go ahead and put down my paperweight right here, kind of let that hang out for a little bit just so everything adheres nicely. Now, once that is done, I can go ahead and place this onto a card panel. Well, look how pretty that is. We have that little bit of shimmer in there, and then we have this gorgeous layout. Now, you guys know I love, love, love the top and the side folding card panels from Hero Arts. They are so easy to use. Your card bases are already done for you, so you don't have to cut and worry about anything. I keep them in my bottom drawer right next to me because it's just a really nice, simple way that I can just grab these card bases and I can get to card making. I did want to make sure I put a good amount of adhesive on here because I do have the lines. There's just a little bit of texture and I want to make sure that this panel sticks on this card well. Once I have that lined up, and look how perfect that lines up, I can go ahead and press this down. And then we have this gorgeous, gorgeous Valentine's Day card with the new Hero Arts January 2024 Classic Kit. Now we have loads of inspiration for you guys, so make sure to check out our blogs and don't forget about the giveaway. We have fantastic giveaways every month, and just go ahead and comment and like and share, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. So there's our color palette for today. I love how this turned out, and I will see you guys in a live shortly after this video. So don't forget to check out the live today as well. And I will see you guys. If I don't see you then, I'll see you on replay. All right, everybody, have a fantastic day, and I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.